Hello again, my name is Rodney Reynolds and I'm with www.3dgameman.com, and this video is regarding the Duron 800 MHz CPU, and I will be testing this in a 8-bit KT7 RAID motherboard with a FOP 32 Global Win heatsink and fan combination. And remember folks, these videos as always are completely unedited and these are only my opinions. So let's now have a look at the CPU itself. Okay, what you're looking at here is the AMD Duron 800 MHz CPU, and as you can see at the top left hand side you'll see D800. This is of course the speed of the CPU, and if I go over here and look at the L1 bridge, you can see that all of them are open, so these need to be closed via a pencil, or better known as the pencil trick. So I'll have a quick penciling in, and I'll come back in 1 second. Okay, what I have used is a magnifying glass as well as a standard lead mechanical pencil. In my case, it looks something like this. Of course, you can see the top of it is quite fine and accurate, and of course I use a magnifying glass, some people don't, but for more accuracy, of course, I would certainly recommend doing that. So let's pop this baby into the system and see what she can do. Okay, there's been a little bit of an interesting turn of events. I tried the pencil trick. It did not work on this CPU. So unless you're prepared to do soldering and short the L1 bridge with a soldering iron, then I would certainly stay away from this CPU. I have tried, like I said, the pencil trick. I went over and over and over again with it. It did not work. Certainly this CPU seemed the bridges were actually physically cut, an indentation, so you could not use the pencil trick. So again, you had to do soldering, and I just used a regular soldering iron, making sure very carefully not to cross or screw up when doing so. So it's a very tricky operation to do this, but I have tried it and it does work. So now I'm going to see how high I can overclock this thing. Something else to note: make sure, of course, you apply your thermal paste. I'm using Arctic Silver, which is quite good, and of course reapply your heatsink and fan combination, and make sure your fan is actually plugged in to the CPU, to the motherboard. So after some overclocking tries with this CPU, I have managed to get it at 1030, so 1030 megahertz. I can get it. It will post at 1.1 gigahertz. However, it will not go into Windows. I can get it into Windows at 1050 megahertz, but it will not pass some of the testing software which I have for stability. So it does post at and go into at 1050 megahertz, but it will not go on past some of our testing software. Now I'm just going to go into the BIOS here. This is the KT7 RAID by 8-bit motherboard. Go into the soft menu 3 setup, and here you can notice I've went user defined. The multiplier was at 8, but since I soldered the L1 bridge, I put it at 10. I have the CPU frontside bus this is the memory at 103. I have the voltage at the max 1.85, the I/O voltage at 3.5, and as you can see, the rest of the settings I have maxed out, and I also have the memory at 103 plus 34, which is the front side front side bus, plus the megahertz, the PC clock. Okay, now I'm going to go into the other important settings here. This is the advanced chipset features, and as you can see, I have everything set to max. Memory at turbo, 4-way interleave, case 2. Everything that you can see here is maxed. If you've noticed here, I have to disable AGP 4 times in order to get my Annihilator 2 card, GeForce 2 card, video card to work. But everything else here is maxed. Okay, I'm just going to prove the fact that this CPU will post at 1.1 gigahertz. I'm just going to change it here. Okay, so there you have it. 1.1 gigahertz. Okay, what you're looking at here is a program called Prime 95. This program is great for either burning in your CPU or testing the stability of it. Again, this Duron 800 is at 1030 megahertz. The voltage is at 1.85. And if you look over here at the CPU current temperature is around 49, and this is under the torture test running Prime 95. So this is extremely torturous test for the CPU, and the temperature is relatively okay. You do not want to see this temperature exceed 60 C. 49 at max CPU usage is quite acceptable. Now, at this time, I do have my case open. When I do close my case, it's around 54 degrees C. So I can just change this to Fahrenheit as well. It's 120 degrees Fahrenheit. So this is extremely acceptable, and the system is completely stable at 1030 megahertz. So to sum this video review up, I give this CPU an 8.5 out of 10. I would have given it higher. I was hoping to get a little higher out of this CPU, maybe at 1.1 gigahertz. That's expecting a lot. I'm sure that I would be able to get to 1.1 gigahertz or close on it if I did the voltage modification on the 8-bit KT7 motherboard, where you can up the voltage higher than 1.85. 1.85, of course, is the maximum voltage for this motherboard. Again, raising voltage above these max voltage settings is dangerous. Even at 1.85 volts, you need a good heatsink and fan combination, as well as good thermal paste. And maybe I would suggest leaving your case open. You'll lower your temperature probably by 5 degrees either way. So again, a great CPU. The price on this is around $170 to $200. You should be able to pick them up now, though, for around $170 to maybe $180 Canadian funds. So a very good price for a CPU which you're going to be guaranteed to be able to get a gigahertz out of. Again, my name is Rodney Reynolds, and this has been another video review for 3dgameman.com. And stay tuned. Next week we will have another video review.